Joining me in the co-host seat, as always, is our esteemed co-host, Mr. Darren Starling.
Who is late?
And we have an amazing show lined up for you tonight. We have got a awesome group of young ladies who have joined us to talk about an amazing show that I have gushed about for years since the Show By Rock franchise first started. And of course, we are honored to be joined by the cast and ADR director of Mashumairesh.
Yay!
Woohoo!
And we, of course, we have the voice of Hawan, Macy Ann Johnson, the voice of Himiko, Giovannie Cruz, the voice of Rihuyu with Lindsay Sheppard.
Hi!
And of course, the voice of Delmine, Emi Lo, is joining us tonight.
Doobie.
And of course, this English dub couldn't have happened without the amazing work done by the ADR director, Megan Shipman.
Woohoo! Yay!
Yay!
And now I talked a little bit during the commercial break with you ladies about how much I love the show, and I thought that it would only be right for you guys to get pumped up the way you would for the concert performance as Mashumairesh, and how you like to introduce yourselves in the show.
All right, hold on.
Do you want to? 1, 2, 3. We are the fresh. New faces.
New faces.
That was abysmal. Perfect. I think we're gonna need another take. I think we're gonna. 5 more takes of that, please.
Like again, but like good.
It is so awesome to have all of you joining us tonight, and I had mentioned during the first segment that this is the first time that you all have been able to talk about it together in one location.
Yep.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And
This is so cool.
and I know, Megan, we had you on the show a couple of weeks ago, and you were talking how much of a crazy time it was where you had just figured out the cast for Mashumairesh, getting everything organized, and then, of course, the pandemic hit, put stuff on hold while you were trying to figure things out.
Oh my god. Yeah, when we finally got to the end and we submitted, I was like, is the world healing finally? Am I done with this? Finally? Because, yeah, I had, like, they all know. It's like, I think I cast the show in March and then kind of had to wait, and then the producers and people were like, okay, just tell the cast they're in the cast or whatever. And I was like, okay. Even though we're not doing it right now. So, like, I told them, so everyone, like, knew forever and ever. And then we finally started doing it in, like, November or something, and then we did all the dub. It wrapped up in January, and then a few months went by, and then we did all the music. And then I was like, is it done? Are we done now? Please let it be done. And it was great.
And then Show By Rock Stars came out, and now you're like, okay, there's going to be more.
Oh, yeah. I was like, oh, no, there's more. I was like, please, I just want to finish this one first. I don't want to talk about that one yet.
And I can honestly say you all did an amazing job in there. And it was funny. I actually binge-watched the show this week. I watched 3 episodes on Wednesday and 9 episodes on Friday night just to refresh myself with the show. And after chatting with Megan to understand a little bit more of the directing side of things, how some of the decisions were made for the show, and talking with Lindsay last week, man, was the show so much better the second time through.
That's cool.
Really great.
Yeah, it's really Yeah, I was telling him a couple weeks ago how we were talking about like the music in Show by Rock and how like I purposely tried to make it where like y'all's first group song in like episode 1 doesn't sound absolutely perfect because it's like Himiko was just like, "Hello, pretty girl, please sing with me," and then and then you know, and then like as they go on, it was like it was more together and more coordinated, and I was like, yeah, I'm glad someone noticed that detail because I did that on purpose, or I tried to anyway.
I was gonna ask Megan if it surprised you when I had picked that up.
Oh, yeah, it did, because normally people just listen, they're like, yeah, music, great, yay. Normally people are just like, yeah, that was great, I love it. But, like, when people notice little details, it's nice, because there are little details. There's so much, like, thought, at least for me, when I was listening and putting it all together, there's a lot of thought that goes into it and putting it all together. And, I mean, obviously they all killed it and made it easy to put it all together, so...
And I have to say, of course, all of you did an amazing job with the singing, but there was one voice that stuck out. And when my wife and I were watching this, we both, like, as soon as Giovannie, you started singing in that first episode, my wife and I looked at each other and we said, we have to find out who this is because her voice is absolutely amazing. And it's a voice we didn't recognize from other animes. Which may have been why it stuck out so much more than some of the others, because, Emi, we've had you on the show, of course. Lindsay, you were on last weekend, and Megan's been a staple of the show for years. And, of course, Macy, it's great to have you on the show for the first time. And just with Giovannie, it was a name we didn't know and a voice that we didn't recognize, but you were just an amazing singer, and really, you did such a great job as Himiko.
Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, I've actually sang in a bunch of other anime, but this is the first one where I got to be a character and sing, which was really, really great. Because a lot of times I actually stunt sing for a lot of the other girls in the anime world, especially the ones that aren't very comfortable singing or using their own voices. I'll go in and I'll match their voice and I'll sing as them. So this is really the first time I got to, actually no, the second time. The first time was another anime I'd done earlier in the year, but this was the first time I got to lead. And yeah, it was such an honor. The music was honestly my favorite part because it's some of the best music in anime, period, hands down to me. I absolutely loved the songs, and I kept asking Meg, I was like, okay, Meg, when can we do the music? When are we going to do the music? Can we, so we're for sure doing the music, right? Because when are we going to do, because to me, the songs are absolute bangers. Like, I loved all of them. Like, and not just the Mashumairesh songs. I like the Doko singer songs.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. When I tell you I had those on my Spotify playlist, oh, my God, I love them.
Yeah, they're absolute bangers. Like, they're just so much fun. So, yeah, no, thank you for saying that, though. But I really appreciate it.
And it's funny you bring up Spotify. I actually joined Spotify this week because of Mashumairesh, and I needed to get all the songs somewhere so I could listen to them.
Oh, they're all
yeah,
there.
I'm that nerd that, bought physical copies of all the CDs.
You did. You were like, do you want this? Do you want a copy of this, Megan? And I was like, maybe I do.
I wish I could find the physical copies because I would. Unfortunately, my car doesn't have a CD player, or else I probably would have already been dive bombing for, hunting the internet. As I think Megan, you said you like to do for the merchandise, which I did pre-order that Sierra plushie.
Perfect. Good. Perfect. Tiny turtle plushie. Check mark. Done. Well, and speaking of Giovannie, this is while we're here just talking about Giovannie. I was 2 weeks ago, I was gushing to you about because Himiko is such a she's clearly the singer of the group. Like all of the girls sing and they're all so talented, but Himiko's like that girl, you know what I mean? And I talked about how when I was like auditioning people for the show, it was like one of those things where I was like, I was more concerned about finding someone who could be that like singer over like necessarily someone who's done a million anime before or, you know, whatever. Because I was like, I knew she was just going to sing so much and they were going to make that a big thing. And like I told you, when I was like looking at people and then Giovannie sent an audition and then I like kind of went and stalked her website. And I was like, wow, oh my God, she can sing so good. I was like, this has got to be the person. So yeah, it was like a no-brainer when I went to her website and I was like, oh, you mean she just sings all the time? Okay, well, hired then.
Yeah, well, you know, like, and you know, Meg knows this now, but my first love was musical theater, and I actually studied opera at uni. So I'm a classically trained vocalist, and that's really how I ended up in anime, believe it or not. I ended up in anime because I was in the same studio as Brina Palencia.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yep. So Brina, if you guys know who Brina is, of course you know, she's like OG. But Brina was the one that always encouraged me to go audition and go sing, and she's the one that when she was music directing, God, I forget, probably the first Zombie Saga, or I forget, it was something, I don't know, but it was one of the first idol shows that had come out. She called me and said, hey, I have some girls that aren't really comfortable singing. They are primarily voice actors. Would you come in and stunt sing for them? And I was like, hell yeah, get me in the booth. Like, I want a way into anime. I don't care how I get there. So I got in first for singing. I know, I like pimped out my voice. So I got there first by singing. And thanks to Meg, and I got this part, which is like a dream come true because I love Timiko.
And
oh yeah, she was one of those. She was a tough cookie. She has layers. I said she has layers like an onion.
And of course, Macy, you did an amazing job as Hawan, who a few months ago on the show here, we did a random top 5 favorite characters from one show. And Darren picked a show. I picked the Show by Rock franchise. And Hawan was my number 1. And Ryuyu was my number 2.
They're
good girls. Good sweeties.
And you know, you guys, Lindsay, you know, last week I gushed about how good you did as Ryuyu. And Macy, Hawan, you brought her to life and you made her... You're just, in my opinion, you were the perfect voice for her English character.
Oh, thank you so much. Yeah, that means a lot to me. That's so kind of you to say, but I love Owen, and she just has that, like, really relatable go-get-it attitude, you know. I really connected with her through that, and I love her story, and it's so fun to watch her grow, and I'm glad you liked her, too.
And I laughed with, especially because this is a show, obviously, I had watched in Japanese, and appreciated it because I screamed, and any of you who have had me on Facebook for a while know how much I have screamed that Show by Rock Mashumairesh and Show by Rock Stars, after I watched that, need a dub, having no clue as a fan that it was already in the works. So I was that annoying fan being like, you need to dub this. I don't know why it's not dubbed yet. Of course, obviously, I have a good idea as to why with everything that had gone on. And of course, when you guys are working on it, you can't say nothing. You are under contract to be like, okay, we can't say anything until we're allowed to.
It's the worst.
That's how it goes. Yeah, that's how it goes.
And, you know, I loved, like, I thought the casting was perfect. And my wife, Emi, my wife will tell you that as soon as we heard that it was getting dubbed and we looked up the cast, when we saw you were Delmine, I'm like, not only is she the perfect Delmine, I could see her cosplaying Delmine.
Yeah, Emi, when are you going to do that?
Yes. I commissioned the wig. I'm waiting for it. I just want to deal with that wig myself.
I knew it.
Yeah, I love that.
And
Can I tell you can I tell you a fun story about Macy?
Of course.
So, well, there's two. So, I was in the middle of casting this show, and I was like, oh, God, who could be Helen? Because I explained a couple weeks ago, like, when with Show By Rock, it's one of those weird shows where everyone and their mom has kind of already been in Show By Rock. And if you are in a band, if you play a band member in Show By Rock, you really can't be cast as another character, even if you only show up for like 2 seconds in an episode, because you just never know when those band members are going to show up. And then people have to be comfortable singing because we're going to do the songs, and that was already established. And then, so I was like, okay, who could be Hoenn? Oh, there's my awesome dog. He too loves Show By Rock so much. Anyways,
I miss him.
I know he's the best. But I was like racking my brain, and I was like, who could it be? Who could be Hoenn? And like I was going to bed one night, and then I like popped out of bed, and I went, oh, I know, Macy. Because I had just directed Macy in No Guns Life, and she played this character who was like, like all cutesy cutesy or whatever, and I was like, Macy. And then I like had this brief memory of her doing musical theater, and so I was like, oh my gosh, my dog is being such a brat. My husband's like, get over here, you crazy. But yeah, I was just like, Macy does music theater, I think, and I just like woke up in the middle of the night and had to like write her name down, and so I could go to bed and look at it tomorrow. And I was like, yes, Macy, perfect. There was also a really funny outtake in episode 1, and Macy knows exactly what I'm talking about, and it's so funny. And it's that scene where she's going to the mailbox, and then she gets the letter, and she's like, I passed the audition. And she like kind of does this happy like yeah or whatever, and Macy did a take where she just straight up screamed like a horror movie. She was like opening the letter, and she just went. It was so funny. I was like, Macy, let's do less. And I was like muted because she was recording, and then I came over. And I was like, Macy, I want you to listen back to that because it was really funny. And let's get one less horror movie, more exciting. Like, yeah,
in my
you're
brain,
right,
it did not sound weird in the moment. But afterwards, wow,
So
I was so
funny.
terrified by that letter.
She was really scared.
Came out with a knife.
Scared of that letter. Yeah, it's a knife. It was. God, that was so funny. It's the best story. Too bad nobody will ever hear it.
Just take our word.
Take our word for it. It was great.
That's because Grandma was there telling her to get him good.
Get him good. Get him good.
Oh, I'm sorry. In English, it was go destroy. In Japanese, it was translated to get him good.
Yeah.
Destroy.
And that was Caitlin. That was Caitlin Barr. And if you've ever met Caitlin Barr, she's a super badass person. And I was like, who could play the really badass rocker grandma? Okay, cool. The friend that I know is a badass, so I picked Caitlin. And she loved it. She was like, I think at the time she was playing like two other grandmas or something. She was like, I don't know what's going on right now, but I'm like a grandma everywhere. And I was like, well, you're too awesome. You're just a badass grandma.
And then the grandfather, I'm still alive.
That was my favorite.
They loved that joke. They were like, just pretend he's dead, but not dead. And it's like, what? Okay.
And this may sound weird.
Great.
I'll randomly just send a message to Sean and be like, I'm still alive.
Now,
Can we talk about how great Ben is as Master, though?
Oh my God.
Yes. He was fantastic. And what's funny is I was like, who could play a tiny little man, but be really funny? And I was like, Ben. He plays all the weird things, so I'll just give him another one.
And if you know him in real life, he's like
He's this very large, like, cuddly human. He's not at all tiny. So when I heard his voice for the first time, he's not at all tiny. So when I heard his voice for the first time as Master, I nearly died.
Oh, and and what's funny is he doesn't show up like in every episode, but when he shows up, he always has these really funny moments. I really love the one when he's like, "Oh, is it because I'm like a god?" And then you're just like, yeah, whatever, Uncle, shut up. And he's like, I'm so dejected, and that's so fun. And Ben is so funny that like every session we were just cracking up because we were like, oh, let's do another one of that, but make it like even funnier. And it was just always fun.
Makes me wish that Master sang, because I remember when he plays Myrrh in Radiance, he's like the guy, he's the bard character, and who like just makes all sorts, just starts like improvising random songs with his lute, and like they're all like joking, ridiculous songs. Perfect.
We are gonna.
Ben's a good singer. He is a good singer.
Ben is hilarious and super talented, and I was like, yes, more funny Chinese characters for Ben to play.
We are going to pause for just a moment for a show ID, and we'll be right back with more of the Mashumairesh special. God, I can talk, honest. Here on the Blog Talk Radio Network.
Hello, this is Ciel Phantomhive, and you're listening to Anime-Zing Radio. I hope you like it.
And welcome back to Anime-Zing Radio here on the Blog Talk Radio Network. I'm your host, Doug Engler. Joining me in the co-host seat, as always, is our good friend, Mr. Darren Starling. He might have muted his mic.
Somewhere.
He might have muted his mic.
In the void. Darren exists.
I'm like, Darren's asleep.
Maybe.
He's like, these girls got it.
They're good. It's a case.
Lunatic case.
Yeah, can we talk about Rusuyu? Can we talk about how that girl is mental?
She's a lunatic.
She's absolutely crazy. I love her. So while I'm mentioning auditions, Lindsay's audition, I was like, oh, it's like immediately she immediately. I think you said you watched a little bit of the show, Lindsay, before you like put in your audition, and God, because you really like. And I could tell, because you, like, nailed that, like, I'm crazy in your audition. What are you talking about? I'm not crazy. Yeah, well, well, you have, it was such a great audition. I was just like, put that one in the yes pile right now. I don't need to listen to that anymore. It was great. And Lindsay always had, like, oh, my God. And, of course, Lindsay kind of had the short end of the stick because Rusuyu is so exuberant, she has the most ridiculous lip flaps in the whole show. And so sometimes we would have to do a line like 6 times or something because her lip flaps are just like crazy bananas. And I'd be like, okay, well that didn't work. Yeah, she just making all kinds of shakes with her mouth, and I'd be like, all right, well, we're gonna like iron this out until we nail it. And Lindsay was such a trooper, and like was like, I got it, it's good.
And she says so many words.
So many. I was like, Lindsay, I hope you remember to breathe, Lindsay, because you're gonna need all
breathe.
That
What?
Who
breathes in anime?
Never. I keep telling Lindsay, my favorite Rusuyu scene was when she's like doing that imagination scene or whatever. She's like having a daydream about being a famous writer or whatever, and she voices herself, the audience, her descendants, those little girls, the mom, like they're all just Rusuyu. And I was like, all right, Lindsay, here we go. You're everybody. Ready, set, go. And she nailed it. It was so good.
Oh, that was so much fun.
And Lindsay, like I mentioned last week, you did a great job as Rusuyu, and Rusuyu is my wife's favorite character from the franchise, or not from the franchise, from Mashumairesh. She's right up there with Darudayu for favorite characters from the franchise.
Oh, yay!
And
She's stinking cute, man.
She's so much fun.
She was just such a fireball. And I think like the way that you and Emi work together, where Emi's character Delmine is so kind of laid back, doesn't show a lot of emotion. It kind of like grounds Ryuyu's hyperness. As soon as Ryuyu starts to like skyrocket up, there's Delmine with a lasso. Just nope, come back down to earth. You know,
You're like, no.
A little poke of the tail gets you back in line. What was it like for you, Emi?
Like, it was so fun, like watching. Well, it was so fun in like Lindsay's sessions. We're like dissecting every single lip flap, but then you get over to Emi's sessions, and Delmine's just like saying 3 words. So it was like, all right, well, these sessions are a piece of cake, and then it's like Lindsay's are like,
saying
I mean,
3 words or just like a bunch of exposition or something.
Yeah, or she's just talking a bunch, but it's all like really monotone.
Yeah,
it's really funny. But yeah, it's y'all two, those two work really well together because really you need help. Help.
Which Ryuyu voice are we using today?
Yeah, which one? Are we using the crazy one or like the dramatic one? And I was like, dramatic one, please, Lindsay. You had like a whole catalog by the time we were done.
Oh my goodness.
the lunatic.
Now, last week, Darren had asked a question of you, Lindsay, which I wanted to put to everybody. And I thought it was kind of neat. But if you had the opportunity to all be at a convention together, would you cosplay as your character from Mashumairesh and sing?
Giovannie here.
Yes,
I have fantasies. I have fantasies of doing that. I'm not even kidding. I have straight up fantasies of dressing up as Himiko and hiring a band and doing the songs. I'm not even kidding.
Live your dreams. Live your dreams.
Thank you. Thank you.
And if you guys do it, I'll buy a onesie and dress up as Master.
Please.
or
We're doing it. We're doing it.
Or maybe we can get Ben to do it. I bet he'd be down. We could get Ben to do it.
Either way, we're doing it.
Yeah, what's happening now?
I have to at least see video of this, if not be there in person.
Yeah.
And with our switch going over to YouTube and the different programming that I'm going to be using, we'll have the opportunity to live stream from events. So if it does happen at a convention that I'm able to get to, our listeners, you better believe I am going to have the camera on to record this for everybody's viewing and listening pleasure because, like I said, the songs are amazing from this show. And these girls killed it, especially as the show went on and you could hear, them all, the voices coming together, harmonizing better throughout the show. You killed it with every episode sounding better and better, and every song sounding amazing.
Sorry, Doug, did you say shit song?
No, I said every song. I have a Boston accent, so...
I'm sorry, I was like, what? Did he just... Oh my god.
I love the music so much I would never say any of it is bad.
No, I'm sorry. I thought it was in reference to like how we were not together in the beginning and it just got better towards the end. So I didn't mean that in like a bad way.
Oh no. I was just, and if I did Freudian slip, I do apologize. I usually don't say stuff like that. But really, it was like you could just hear the progress of a young band coming together, and it was really neat to see the perspective as a fan of music in general. Because I grew up, my dad used to do DJing for weddings, things like that. Music was a big part of my life growing up. All the songs, I listened to everything from 40s, 50s, all the way up to modern day. I grew up with everything from reel-to-reel to 8-tracks to, albums, cassettes, CDs, MP3s, all this stuff. So I have a real love for music of all types, which I think is one reason why I'm obsessed with this show.
That's great. It really is a good show, and it's like every group did such a great job, and like me, I got to sit back. It was torture for me. It was extra torture for me because like I got to hear everything all together before everybody else did. And I was like, it's so beautiful, and I just couldn't say anything. I was like tortured. It was absolute torture. And when it finally dropped one day on Twitter and people started tagging me and everybody else, and I was like, oh, thank God, finally I can talk about this. It was like everyone did such a good job, and also the boys are so funny. We were talking about the boys a little bit a couple weeks ago, and I love how dumb they are. And I say dumb,
they're one brain cell that...
Yeah, they're one collective brain cell between the four of them. I absolutely adore them. But yeah, everyone was so good, and I could just go on forever. So, yeah.
And of course, as Mashumairesh, the band makes many appearances of going to concerts of Doko Gin Fingers shows.
Oh yeah, they love to fight.
It was like one brawl after another, but you could also see through the storyline of the friendship, even though they would never admit it. Even probably to this day, they will never admit that they're friends. But you can see the friendship developing and how they change as people, not just a band, through all their performances, and the music gets better, and of course all the craziness that ensues from different fights, and having to make the bentos for the big Midi City festival, and
yeah,
the curling episode is still the best.
Oh God, that episode! I watched that, and that episode is wow.
Amazing.
What a it's a thing. There's no words really. It's just like it exists, and
well, in that episode, like both of the boy bands have one collective brain cell.
Absolutely, they are all of them. I'm like, you all need help, and so much help. But keep going. It's great. It's good entertainment. So
I have a question
great.
Actually. Can I ask you a question, Meg? Because maybe you can answer this, and I've always been curious. Sorry, Doug, I'm not trying to take over your question.
Oh, go right ahead.
Even we have questions, like, when we're talking about storyline, and Meg always has an answer. So, like, the episode where Delmine goes missing, and we're, like, all the girls are looking for her, and we see Hohen, was it Hohen? That walks through Delmine walks through an alley, or past an alley. She passes one of the boys, and he pops the pill. Is he about to go trump her because she wooed him? She like what was it? Doobied him?
Oh no! Well, no. I think no, because that happened. I don't remember when it happened.
That
exactly.
was it's the same episode. Like, she uses her little mystical powers on him and, like, knocks them all out because they're fighting at the rehearsal studio.
Oh, well, he's in that alleyway because, and this is something, like, they have in, like, the trivia and stuff for, like, that they don't get into in the show, but Joe actually works at a restaurant, so he's actually just taking his break from working in the restaurant, and he's just like, yeah, cool, time to, like, drink my applesauce and take my pills. And and it's just kind of like, it's a coincidence. And Ruhi is like, hey, have you seen this girl with the horns and things? And he's like, that way. So, yeah, it's just kind of this funny coincidence. And also it was really funny because in the J, he doesn't even say anything. He's just like, mm-hmm. But me and Aaron, I said, Aaron, let's put something there, and he was like, rrr, 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 rrr. And so he was funny and got to say mumble things. So yeah, I do always have an answer. You're right.
This is one reason I wanted to do the show too. Is don't feel bad about if you have questions of the other girls of how things were done, because, like I said, this is the first time that you all have been able to sit down and talk about the show together as a collective unit. And honestly, it's an honor for me to sit here and to hear these stories and hear what it was like for you guys to bring this amazing show to life in the English dub. And like I have the bad habit of like pumping people up and probably thanking you way too much, but I mean it. Like it's truly an honor to have all of you on here at the same time. And I know for Macy and Giovannie, this is the first time you two have joined us, but Megan will tell you the door is open anytime that you want to come back to talk about the other work that you have done in anime, or even if you have stuff you want to promote, whether it be anime related, theater related, things like that. We love to promote people here. We love to watch your careers continue to grow as you go out there and entertain millions of people out there, not just myself and our listeners.
Well, thank you so much.
Thank you.
That's so kind.
Yeah, Doug is rad. We love Doug.
And Megan first joined us shortly after she had started her career, because we've been doing the Anime-Zing radio for about 7.5 years, and Megan just recently posted on her page that it's been 8 years with Funimation.
Yeah, it's kind of nuts. It doesn't feel like 8 years. It simultaneously feels not like it's been 8 years, and also like it's been forever. I don't know how those can coexist at the same time, but they do.
Now, I was curious too with you guys what it was like to you got cast and then the pandemic happened and things were on hold. Did you have enough other work going on where you were able to put, okay, well, I'm in the show, I just got to push it to the back of my mind? Or were you anxiously waiting for being able to record these characters and sing and everything?
I played Animal Crossing.
Well, I
got Animal Crossing.
Yeah, there was like a period of time, like I think like March, April, everything was kind of halted. And so there was a time where nobody was really doing anything except for, people at Funny trying to figure out, okay. Yeah, it was the Animal Crossing period. And everyone, so I think everyone was really anxious to like get back to work. And it kind of sucked because like once everything halted, it was like, oh no, what are we going to do? And so it kind of got, it was already, like, it was a show that was already going to be going straight to DVD because it had already aired. Even when I cast the show, it was all done and it was all aired. And so it was just a waiting game. So I was like, well, we're going to get to it eventually, but then the pandemic hit, things slowed down. And then it kind of just ended up being this thing where it was like, okay, well, we're just going to have to wait because they have other shows like My Hero and stuff that they need to get wrapped up, and so it was just a waiting game and like when it eventually was going to happen, and it was so painful to wait, but it happened. So I mean, that's the important part. It happened.
I was just like, I hope it's still happening. I hope they haven't forgotten about me. Please be happening.
And I did say there were a few people that would email me over the months, and I was like, no, it's fine. Like, nothing's happening without you. I swear, no one's forgotten. And so I was just like, you're gonna be the first to know when I know. So it was so painful waiting because we all wanted to do it so bad because it's like you just want to get it over with and start working on it because it's such a cute show. And finally, it happened, and I was like, oh, thank God. Thank God.
And then when it did happen, it was a freaking marathon.
Oh, yeah. It was like, okay, well, this is due in yesterday. So now we have to get everything done as fast as possible. And it
like,
was just...
are you able to work on the holidays? Okay.
Yeah, do you need to not, can you just not sleep, please? Thank you. That'll be great.
And I don't know about the rest of you girls, but I remember getting in the booth, and because I don't have a setup at home, I actually went into studio and had to follow protocol and go through all the hubbub just to like go into studio to do it. But I remember just being in the booth and like losing my ever loving mind my first session and just being like, oh my God, Megan, I'm so embarrassed. I swear I've done this before. Like, I'm so embarrassed. I've totally forgot how to do all of this.
Well, and like I said, you had kind of a more interesting past, Giovanni, than some of the other girls, because Himiko kind of had a lot of baggage just to begin with from the beginning of the show. And so I already had in my mind, she needs to sound a particular way. So not only were you trying to get used to a character, find her voice, you know, get back in the swing of like dubbing and getting used to ADR stuff again, because you do all kinds of acting. You don't do just ADR. So correct. You're like doing all these things, and then also I'm there going, okay, but we need it to be a little bit more angsty and a little more kind of undertone of like sad. So I was there making it more difficult.
I just remember losing.
You were such a trooper, and you were great.
I don't think I told you this. I don't think I ever told you this, but I remember leaving and going, I'm a failure. This is never going to work.
No,
she hates
you
me.
were so great.
She's going to fire me. She's going to replace me. I'm never going to work again.
You were so great, and it all kind of paid off, because once we got to that big episode 6 where like Himiko's like trying to do that thing where she's like pushing everyone away, and Hohen's like, no, I love you. And you're like, okay, I love you.
And then they got married.
And then they get married, and they ride off in the sunset.
Getting a divorce.
And it was kind of like all that stuff we had set up, kind of leading up to that moment. It was like, it was such a great payoff, because I was like, this is where all of that is coming from, and you were like, oh, I get it. And it was so good once we got to episode 6, because all of that like little things that I was like, do it this way. It kind of like
and Megan would be on the other side, on the other end in her closet going, this is what Hohen's going to sound like. Me. And she would like do and she'd be like, I'm Hohen. Me.
I also have coined, I want the world to know that I have coined, Macy does this laugh as Hohen. It's so funny. I call it the Muppet laugh, because she just goes, it's so funny, and I just love it. It's the best Muppet laugh ever, and I love Hohen's Muppet laugh.
Yeah.
I remember my favorite is there was this one scene where Ruhuyu has to like mimic Hohen and Himiko.
Yeah.
But it wasn't recorded yet. So Megan's just trying to explain like what they sound like, and I'm like, okay,
right.
Wait, okay, so like a little bit more like this, or like a little bit more like this, and you're just kind of directing.
Yeah, I was like Giovanni. I was like Giovanni is gonna be like, and then Mason's gonna be like, trying to describe these like personalities, because you have to imitate them. And I was like, perfect. That's perfect, Lindsay. Perfect. You nailed it. But yeah, it was kind of chaotic trying to describe them, because they're both so funny and so different that I was like, oh man, I gotta figure out how I can tell Lindsay how this goes. It was great.
It's like the detective like is trying to make like a sketch of like the perpetrator, but like through voices.
Yes. Oh yeah. Only like through voice. Like you're blindfolded and you have to draw a picture. That's what it was like.
And Macy, with Howen, she had the episode where she was, picked by Raging Signal to be, go with them, learn about what they do behind the scenes, and she hung out with them for a lot. What was it like for you to put yourself in her shoes to be like, okay, well, I'm at I'm this country girl, I'm at this huge recording studio, now I'm with them at their apartment and all of this stuff. What was going through your mind when you had to record those scenes?
Yeah, okay. Honestly, I was in Hohen's shoes a little bit, because Jamie is such a cool actress that I've been listening to for years. So I was so excited to get to be in scenes with her and stuff. So I was really feeling that. And then Susie and Amber, I believe, are the others. So it was like, okay, I get to, do things with these cool actors. So I was really feeling excited to do that. And I don't know, it was also fun because Hoenn kept this, like, sentimental, she's like, yeah, these are cool girls, but I love my Mashumairesh girls. It was fun to be the, small town girl in the big city. I like this.
I really love how silly Helen is. She's just like, yeah, this is great. This is fun. I'm gonna go home now. Oh, okay, well, okay, bye. She's just like, yeah, thanks a lot. I had a great time. It was fun. Bye. She just doesn't really care. She's so funny.
For real.
And I also loved, like, she was the same way with Himiko too, where she's just that girl that just says things. She's like, well, duh, of course I love you. And Himiko's like, you can't just say that to me. But Hoen's like, why not? I do love you. And we always joked about how Hoenn was just like, wow, Himiko, you're so pretty. And just all the time, it's like, and Himiko would always just be like, have that attitude of like, oh my God, what is wrong with this girl? And she would just get so flustered. She's like, this girl's so pretty. And I think we made the joke that Himiko is totally she's probably like totally into girls, because look, like, that's just the thing. It's so cute. But Hoenn, we said Hoenn is just, she'll just love anybody. She's that girl. It's like, you're pretty and cute and talented and I love you. So she's so funny. She's made of love. She is, and she's just that girl that will like speak her mind and be like, I love you. And she's like, you can't say that. But she does. She's like, yes, I can. I just did.
And Hoenn had a lot of run-ins with that one wolf police officer that, trying to set up the tent in the park and a campfire and crushed his cotton candy and...
You crushed his cotton candy. Wolf.
It's cruel.
She was so fun. Who is that? Oh my God, I'm so bad at names. I'm forgetting. Jim Ferranda was the police dog, and he got this really awesome part in the last episode where you're like, you just run out in the street, you're like, help me, I need to go to the place, and he like has this moment where he goes, get in, ma'am, and I was like, whoa, and I was like, Jim is gonna love this, because it was just so goofy and silly and fun. And I think every girl here will agree with me that we all loathed recording the first 6 episodes of the last episode, or the first 6 minutes of the last episode, because they were just running the whole time, and the lip flaps just suck. Like when any anime, it doesn't matter. When there are characters running, the lip flaps get all kinds of wonky and crazy, and I wanted to rip my hair out. I was like, please, I just want this 6 minutes to be over, because I'm tired of looking at running mouths. I'm tired of it.
Yeah, I think you changed like the dialogue between Himiko and Delmine like 3 times.
Oh yeah,
just to make it match.
Yeah, there's so many, and because we, when we record, have the luxury of seeing it like frame by frame and kind of adjusting it as we go. When the writers are writing, they don't have, unless they do it themselves, but usually they don't go frame by frame. They just kind of do it by eye. So like when we get into all the good stuff and we get into the recording, it's like, oh my God, we gotta really, finesse this. And it was just, oh my God. I was like, please, when these 6 minutes are over, I will be so relieved. I was so done with that episode. I was like, please, I just want to get past the running. Because for 6 minutes, they're just running.
And leading up to today, as I mentioned earlier, I posted a different Mashumairesh group picture every day this week to pump, fans up for the show. And in one, I think the one I did yesterday, I made the comment of, I hope they don't oversleep for the show. because your characters like to sleep in on days of big events.
They do. True. They're so sleepy.
There's a lot of sleeping in the show. There's a lot of bedroom magic in the show. Like, there was the scene between Himiko and Hoenn, and, like, Meg and I would joke in the booth. It'd be like, bedroom eyes.
Yeah. Give Hoenn the bedroom eyes.
Because they're married.
I mean, they're married. They're basically married.
And you guys made the joke during the show, too, of, it's like you guys are married. I think it was Delmine who said that.
I remember she was like, "Are you getting a divorce?"
I love. Oh yeah, that's so funny. I was like, "Yeah, marriage jokes," and he was like, "No, we're not married." I'm like, "Yes, you are. Stop lying." Let it happen. Absolutely married. Just let it happen, Himiko. You're married.
And we've got to pause for just one more moment for another show ID as we are hitting the last segment of the show. Again, a big hats off, big thank you from the bottom of my heart to the wonderful ladies of Show By Rock Mashumairesh for joining us. Macy Ann Johnson, Giovannie Cruz, Lindsay Sheppard, Emi Lo, and of course Megan Shipman. Please stay tuned for more Anime-Zing Radio right after this quick ID.
Hey, this is Anthony Bowling, and you're listening to Anime-Zing Radio on the Blog Talk Radio Network.
And welcome back to Anime-Zing Radio here on the Blog Talk Radio Network. We are talking with the amazing cast and director of Show By Rock Mashumairesh. And ladies, it has been an honor, as I mentioned before, to have all of you on talking about the show. I have such love for this show, and it's kind of funny because the way that I setting everything up, I put the idea out to Darren for it on a Friday night. And I was like, what do you think about, our last show on Blog Talk Radio? We focus on this. We do an anime-related special for this anime that just got dropped in English dub. And within 4 hours, I had everybody confirmed but Macy.
Yeah, Macy, what's up with that?
Jeez, Macy, did you oversleep or something?
Oh my God, Macy.
And I don't.
We were stuck in the back of the truck.
I couldn't get out of the truck. The same thing happened in a group chat I was in, and everyone's like, "Is Macy okay?" And I was like, "Yes, but no, but yes."
I'm okay. I'm not okay. It's fine.
Are any of us okay?
And I didn't say that to put Macy on the spot. In all honesty, I just was amazed at how fast it came together. And having done this show for so long, I know that you guys have very busy schedules. You always have a lot going on between your personal and your professional lives. And I'm always so appreciative that you guys take the time out to come on and talk about your careers, the characters that you've done, and the work that you've done with us for an hour and 90 minutes on a Sunday night when there's so many other things you could do. So really, it means a ton to me. So from the bottom of my heart, and of course our fans out there, a big thank you.
Of course.
Well, thank you for having us.
Yes, thank you.
It's really fun because we don't ever and even when it's not like COVID, it's so hard to get everyone together and talk about a show you've all done together, because usually that really only happens at conventions or something. And so it is really fun to get to sit down and talk to everybody and be like, remember that thing, and you don't know it, but so and so did this thing too. And it's really fun to just sit down and talk about it. So it's something we as actors doing anime don't get to do very much. So it's always really fun.
And Mario in the chat room says this special is everything he's ever wanted, and a big heart symbol from him as well.
Oh, thanks, Mario.
Okay. Before I forget, before we talk about more stuff, I don't want us to forget, because I think y'all were gonna go ahead and announce that we're doing that thing, the autograph thing, right? Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
I think so. Well, we're doing it now. So
we're doing it now, everybody.
It's
So
we're doing it now, everybody.
Yeah. We were gonna announce it. I think that all of the shops are going to go open soon. But everyone here, all of these lovely ladies, and I guess me, but I'm not as important, we're doing a Streamily autograph session on August 15th. And so they're brand new. All these lovely ladies have Mashumairesh prints, and we're going to be doing that in 2 weeks. So if anyone loves the show and wants to show their love to these beautiful ladies, you can do so. So Streamily on August 15th, we'll be doing a wonderful autograph session, and it's going to be super fun. And there's brand new prints and autograph prints drawn by the super amazingly talented Nashira Sauce, which oh my gosh, I follow her on Twitter, and before we could talk about the show even getting a dub, before it got announced, I saw her do some art of Yasu and Hachin on Twitter, and I was like, I can't tell you why, but I love this picture, Nashira. It's like so painful, because she was like, I love Mashumairesh, and I was like, me too. I can't tell you why, but me too.
Yeah, she's been posting like Mashumairesh stuff for like a year, over a year.
So if anyone listening wants a really cute Mashumairesh print from these lovely people, August 15th.
They all match too.
Great. Yes, and they all match.
And I will say we all had a say in what our prints look like. So I mean, they were personalized for us by Nashira Sauce. So it's not like she copied something from the show or anything. Like, we definitely had an input on basically these prints. So that it's a little bit of us too.
Definitely send me the links.
Cute. Yeah, everyone's been sending me pictures of their prints, and I was like, they're so cute. I want them. Give it to me now.
Definitely send me the link so I can post it up on our Facebook pages and everything.
I will. I know everything's going live tonight. I think it just is a matter of everyone going in and clicking the open button. Is it? Okay, good. Well, then I'll find a link and I'll shoot it at your way, Doug. I'll make sure you have a link.
Because that just, like, it has me, like, you can see on camera, because we're live streaming on YouTube, and if you're loving the show tonight, please hit the like button and subscribe to the channel. We're going to be having more awesome content going on every Sunday with different guests, different specials. I might even pop on to do some different types of shows throughout the week as well. I've got a lot of ideas that are going on for Anime-Zing Radio, and even some of the off-topic shows that I may do down the line, and man, I am inside. I am fanboying something fierce. I knew it would happen. That, like, I would be like, this is probably one of the most nervous I've been for a show leading up to this because of how excited I was. And I'm sure you all can understand when you have like something big that's coming up, you get real excited. The butterflies are there, and in my mind, I'm going, all right, don't screw this up. Just have fun. Just go. It's a normal show. But inside, the 5-year-old in me is freaking out.
Well, I have to say, I've been watching the chat the whole time, and you look certainly very cool, sir.
And I do apologize for anybody out there in Facebook if you were a part of the original 30 minutes and then the stream went down for whatever reason. It is back up and running. We've been going now for over an hour. I think cutting out the commercial breaks, some of the issue may have been with us playing music during a commercial break on Blog Talk, we have to mute the sound for YouTube. And so that might have had something to do with everything going on. But definitely thank you all out there for tuning in. So glad to see everybody out there having fun, enjoying the show. And obviously, of course, big thank you to our guests tonight. You ladies killed it with everything. And Megan, you know, I complimented you up and down on the directing style, and knowing that your history of music, where you produce your own songs and singing, I think that brought a lot to the table, where maybe some other directors who haven't produced a lot of music might have done things a little differently. And I think that your knowledge of how to set the show up is what made it that much better in English, in my opinion.
Oh, thank you. Well, and I also have to give a lot of love over to Caitlin Glass, because she directed the original Show by Rock, and she basically was the one who was like, hey, because she was going to be starting shows back before COVID, and she was like, hey, and I've been assistant directing for her, and then she was like, you want to do this? And I was like, heck yeah. And so there were a lot of times where I would text her and ask her little questions here and there, just to keep things really consistent. So, and she was always great and always answered my questions and is just a wonderful person. And so I was trying to just not ruin it. And I guess it worked. Cause it was a mixture of me being like, okay, I can't mess this up. And then it was also really the first show I got to direct all by myself. And so that was really exciting. And it was just it was great, because everyone was wonderful. And I always say it takes a lovely village to make any anime. And we had a good village, and it was great. And it turned out good.
And of course, a lot of credit. Tonight we're showcasing the voices and the director of Show by Rock Mashumairesh. But of course, every week I always want to compliment and thank the team behind the scenes, the production team, the script writers, the people who don't normally get the love for the hard work that they put in. Because everybody loves the voice actors, and a lot of people know the directors, but the people behind the scenes don't get enough credit, in my opinion, for the hard work that they put in. Everybody from the engineers to the studio hands, the sound people, even the studio setup, because there's a lot of work that goes in behind the scenes. So this particular season got dubbed over at Studio Nano, which is run by Michelle Rojas. So Michelle was really involved in organizing a lot of this and making sure things were running smoothly. And I think we had Helena. Oh gosh, I'm blanking on her last name. Helena was our engineer for most of it. Then we had some help from a couple of other engineers when Helena was really busy, and it was just great. And we had a great team. And Dawn Bennett and Amanda Lee helped with music, and Caitlin Glass also wrote some of the music too. So there were a lot of really, really awesome people behind the scenes, keeping things running and going, and making sure it all got turned in on time and it all sounded great. And I couldn't have done it by myself, that's for sure. So everyone else was awesome, helping get it all together and making sure we all had it done in time, and it sounded great. So, and then of course all of them, they made it good too. So. And Emi, what was it like to be able to play a character that just shoots beams out of your head? Just you had the horns, you shooby and shoot a beam. You blew up Himiko's door. You fried Ryuyu to calm her down.
I was so confused the first time it happened, because everyone else seemed so normal. I mean, besides Ryuyu, but Ryuyu doesn't shoot beams. She just wishes she could shoot beams.
She wants to.
I was just.
She wants to so bad.
She actually just shot beams, and they're like, that's fine. I mean, Himeko doesn't think it's fine, but yeah, it was. I mean, still.
Oh, she was
really
so
awesome, and I guess she just woke up in the morning and chose silence.
Yeah, she really does. She does.
Delmi was actually my next to Hoenn. Actually, Hoenn was my first favorite, and Delmi was my second favorite, just because she was so quiet and so cute, but was a total badass when it came to people messing with her people.
Oh my God! Watching stars when she's she's a hardened criminal ready to dig herself out of prison. I'm with a spoon. I'm like, what is going on here?
Oh yeah, Show. If you haven't seen Show by Rock Stars, though, you have to go watch it. Literally, the first 2 episodes are just chaos of them getting arrested, and Delmine in prison is like, it's fine, I'm gonna escape. And I was like, Delmine, calm down. God.
Delmine's the real. She's the real deal. She's got that quiet sort of mystery and anger and sadness around her. You just don't know. She's like that friend that you want to make sure you really don't piss off, because you just don't know.
Absolutely. Absolutely. She's so funny. And she's also like kind of weird too. She's like, here, I just carry around my grandpa, and everyone's like, what? And she's like, it's just my grandpa's horn. And everyone's like, I'm sorry, you have a what now? And she's like, yeah, it's beautiful. And I can
when she makes the guitar,
and you're like,
sound of it.
oh yeah, and then she makes that's a fun fact. So Doug, and you know how Delmine makes the guitar picks out of the horn?
Yep.
Right? That she gives to all the girls. I had to have them mute the sound effects in the background when we recorded it, because the sound that Japan made while she's like in the background grinding and cutting and polishing the stuff in the background, it was like a nails on a chalkboard sound to me after a while, and I couldn't listen to it. I had to turn it off. I was like, mute it.
Delmine breaks bad.
Listen to it.
Yeah, Delmine breaks bad when she's grinding down her grandpa's horn.
Oh yeah.
Like she's like, it's like
how like she blows it again, and they're like, isn't it higher pitched now?
She's like, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I can honestly say.
Her and Onigiri Bearman, they're not going to take any trouble, and they will mess you up in an alleyway.
I will say, of all the characters in Mashumairesh, I think Delmine is the one that I would be the closest one to want to cosplay.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think I could pull it off,
Well,
but it'd probably be the one that I would want to cosplay the most.
It's pretty great.
Who's
I
got
got
the
a
wig coming?
custom-made plushie. Yeah, and I got that custom-made plushie of Onigiri Bearman.
You sure did. You were like, I want him, and you got him.
I love him. He's amazing.
It makes me happy, and I love how like whenever they're like in the chibi form or whatever during the concerts, like you just see him dancing in the back.
He becomes sentient. Yeah, I have a lot of questions about him, because he does become a sentient backpack that just starts dancing, and I'm like, is he alive? Is he not? I don't know, and I'm concerned.
That's Delmine's grandma. That's why she got booted from because that's her grandma.
She's actually she possessed the backpack.
Right.
Oh my
like
God.
The granddad died, and then grandma was like, yo, I'm sad, and she's like, I got you, grandma, and then that's why she got booted from the tribe.
Oh no. They were like, you can't bring your grandparents back to life. It's illegal.
Oh my God.
This is truly how, like, when we're in the booth, these are the theories that happen.
It is, and I tell this to everybody whenever I direct, and I'm like hour 20 into like episode 5 or whatever, and I've been watching this episode for a week straight. Like, yeah, this is pretty much, I just come up with really weird things in my head, and I'm like, wouldn't it be funny if this happened? And then we just start laughing and like going back and forth and kind of making it more and more ridiculous, and eventually in my head that is what happens. So yeah.
There are times I wish I could be a fly on the wall in the recording booth just to see what goes on behind the scenes. I know that some animes, they have some of the outtakes that go up and things of that nature, and I know you guys have a lot of fun when you're in the booth recording. Did you guys leave a lot of bombs for each other, or have the time to leave any bombs while doing the recording?
I think with the way we did it, there were a lot of like really funny moments individually, but I don't think we left any. Actually, no, I lied. No, wait, nope. I'm thinking about something else that I can't talk about, so never mind. I won't tell that story. But individually, like in the way this show was recorded, it's hard to leave bombs for people because we're so focused on making sure the audio is, because not only are we listening and making sure the read is good and it fits the flap, but then with remote recording, you also have that challenge of making sure there's no blips, no weird dropouts. And so it's like, there are funny moments individually, but it seems like there's never time when you record remotely to do bombs. Except for that other story that once I can tell that story, I will tell that story, but I can't tell that story. But yeah, it seemed for this project, we were so focused on Macy's horror movie Scream was just absolute perfection. And so there's always like little things here and there that we were like, oh, this is so cute, and but I don't know if I don't think we left any bombs in this show in particular, just because we were so focused on and we had such a tight turnaround for a lot of these things that it was surprisingly bombless.
Well, I can understand with the remote recording and everything as to trying to keep things on the deadline and everything.
Oh, absolutely, yeah. After recording this show with everyone, there's nothing that scares me anymore. The Source Connect could fall apart and be in shambles, and it wouldn't faze me. We did a lot of weird, funky things to record this show, and it happened. And even when it was finished, I was like, how did we make this? I don't even know how we did this, because one day it would be like, well, this thing is on fire and falling apart, so we can't use that today. But everyone was such a trooper. We'd be like, hey, do you want to try recording this way? And everyone would always be like, yeah, whatever, to make it work, or whatever. And I'm not scared of anything anymore. And everyone was super awesome about being so understanding, because some days I was like, man, if this was happening to me, I'd be like, I cannot work like this. But everyone was so sweet about it, and I was like, thank you guys for not hating everything. Thanks for working with me.
I think we were just also happy to get back to work and to get to doing stuff again. That I think I honestly would have gnawed off my own nail if it meant working again, just so I could do something.
Oh yeah, that too. We were just so ready to do something again, and it was great, and everyone was really great. And like I said, nothing phases me anymore. I have no fear. The problems of this world do not confine me anymore after recording this show, because good grief, there were days where I was like, how are we making this work at all? It was like a piece of bubble gum and a rubber band holding everything together some days.
Well, and as a director, Meg, you had to go back, directors in general go back and watch their shows and make approvals and stuff, but I think you had to be extra careful with this show because everything was remote. So you probably did more passes than is regular, just to make sure everything was at the level that you needed it to be to turn it in.
Oh yeah, absolutely. It was crazy, all the shenanigans I was juggling, and I was like, it's fine, I don't need to sleep at all. It's fine. Show by Rock is worth it. And it was, because I think the end product was really, really funny and really sweet and really, really great. So I think it was worth it for sure.
It was good enough for me to want to put this special on.
And that's exactly perfect.
And this is only I think our 6th anime-related special that we've focused on.
Yay! Wow. Well, that's exciting, yeah, and I've been there for 2. 2? Is it 2, Doug? I don't know.
Megan, I think this is your 3rd one with us, Megan, because you were there for New Game, and you were there for Data Live.
Oh yeah, we did New Game. Yeah, and then we talked about Anthony and how funny he is and how great he is. Yeah, it was good, and I love that stuff.
Talked great about Anthony, and then he found his phone a half hour into the show, or a half hour later after you were on.
Late.
and then it turned into the Anthony bashing moment.
Oh, but bashing him with love.
Of course. We love Anthony. I got to reach out to him again to get him on the show with the new software that we're going to be doing here soon.
Yeah, I'm excited for you guys to be on YouTube and stuff, because y'all are going to, it's going to let you guys grow even more. I think it's going to be super fun.
And for all of you out there listening, next week we do not have a guest lined up. It's just going to be me and Darren. We're going to be introducing ourselves to the YouTube audience full time. We're going to be using StreamYard instead of Blog Talk Radio. I'll tell you what, I went through a huge undertaking to download every episode that wasn't a repeat or a test episode off of the Blog Talk archive, because when I unsubscribe to them, I know everything's going to be deleted. And after I download this show tonight, I'm going to have 264 episodes on my external hard drive.
Wow, that is so much content.
And I couldn't see losing all of that work, especially, I love every show. I love every guest we've had on. Megan has been a huge part of the show, not just as a guest. Megan, you've sat in as a co-host for cosplayers and artists. Yeah. We've had musicians and gamers. We had Bang Zoom on the show over the past, 7.5 years and everything. So I didn't want to lose any of the memories, and I wanted our fans to be able to still find everything. So little by little, with some editing, all of our old episodes will be put up on our YouTube channel.
Yay!
That's exciting. Well, thank you for having us and putting us all together. I really love hearing Emi's voice for the first time, and and also Macy and Lindsay. I think I met Lindsay in person at one point or a couple times, but I've never actually met some of these gals in person. So it's really nice to hear your voices that in IRL.
You too.
And like I said, when we brought everybody on during the commercial break, I want this to be a nice panel feel for you for like future conventions when you're able to all get together and talk about, Show by Rock. In all honesty, I don't feel that the franchise gets as much love as it needs to. It is so much better than people give it credit for. And if I have a small part in promoting this franchise to people out there, if you haven't seen Show by Rock Mashumairesh, this is your introduction. You've got to check everything out. The music is fantastic. These girls did an amazing job. And if you're wondering why Megan was directing Mashumairesh and not in it, it's because she was in a band in the original Show by Rock series.
I was corriente with, funnily enough, Michelle, who we ended up doing it at her studio. So it was, we got our band back together to make the new band a thing, and now, yay, it's a thing, and I love it, and I love everybody in the show. It was so fun.
And you touched a little bit on the Show by Rock Stars, which has been put out it has been subbed. You can find that on Funimation as well. I recently went back and rewatched that, because I wanted to do the voice comparison of, some of the characters. I've done the show for so long and have become, a little on the critical side. Like, I start to analyze anime a lot more than I ever used to, thanks to this show and getting to talk to all of you amazing voice actors and all the work you guys put in. It's like, well, how does this compare to the original? And, like, at first you were talking about, Duck and Joe Finger, how they have like one collective brain cell, and Hachin's voice was so annoying in English. I'm like, it's not that he did a bad job, he did a great job to make an annoying character's voice that much more annoying. And then when I listened to it in Japanese, I'm like, oh my god, he nailed it, because he really is that annoying voice.
He really is. I couldn't not do that. So yeah, a lot of people were like, why did he sound like that? And I'm like, did you not hear the Japanese? He sounds just like that. Your question is answered.
Mm-hmm.
And sadly, we've only got about 3 minutes left on the show before we say goodbye to Blog Talk, and a big thank you to all of our fans here on the Blog Talk Radio Network. A huge thank you to Macy Ann Johnson, Giovannie Cruz, Lindsay Sheppard, Emi Lo, and Megan Shipman for joining us tonight. Ladies, it has truly been an honor, and I can't believe that time has flown this fast.
Yeah, it's been fun.
Thank you for having us.
And
thank you for having us.
And like I mentioned before, anytime any of you ladies want to come back on the show, if it's promoting anything, the door is always open. Feel free to reach out. I love the work that you all have done, and like I had mentioned before, Macy and Giovannie, this is the first time that we've gotten a chance to talk, and Lindsay and Emi have been on one time before. Megan's been a staple on the show for a while, and really you all have done phenomenal jobs with the stuff that I have seen you in. It makes me wish that I could have everybody on a lot more, but of course, time doesn't allow that, and so I cherish the time that I have to chat with you ladies, and I really hope now that conventions are starting up again that soon I'll be able to make it to an event that you ladies are at.
Yeah,
I look forward to meeting you, Doug.
Yeah, everyone here, Doug is so sweet and nice and awesome, and
90 seconds.
I always tell people that Doug is great, and he's super fun to talk to.
We do try to keep the show light.
Awesome.
I do try to keep the show light and fun, and I improv the whole show. There's no script. I've had many of people who are like, oh, do you have a set list of questions? The only question I start off with is, tell everybody a little bit about yourself outside of the anime-related specials, where tonight it was like, we got to dive right into Mashumairesh because this show is amazing, and we got to pump it. We got to pump this into everybody's brain. You've got to watch this show.
Yeah, and before we run out, remember, Streamily, August 15th, the shops are already open, I think. I think some people's are. And I sent you a link, Doug.
I got that. I got that link. Now it's just getting the money. Because there are so many I want. I want you all. I want the autographs from all of them.
And the prints are sparkly and pretty and beautiful, and I want them.
And we have 30 seconds left. Again, a big thank you to everybody out there for tuning in. Thank you to Macy, Giovannie, Lindsay, Emi, and Megan for joining us tonight. Thank you for Darren for being on the co-host side of things. I think he had some issues, so he has not been able to really be a full part of the show tonight, unfortunately. But really,
we love you, Darren.
10 seconds.
Thank you to everybody for following us along here for 7.5+ years. And looking forward to so many more over on YouTube. Until then, this has been Anime-Zing Radio on the Blog Talk Radio Network.